again, the internet-mediated research, no, this is advances in technology and internet connectivity extend opportunities for psychological research, no. Such technology or technological advances may also introduce additional and sometimes non-obvious complexities relating to interpreting and applying ethics principle. So a while ago, dinig naman natin sa ating presenter ano yung mga dapat iwasan, ano mga dapat i-consider, and so on. No, this is particularly true in the case of internet-mediated research or the IMR, no? Because as our presenter mentioned, no, IMR covers a wide range of quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods, approaches to research involving or about human participants. Now, it can be broadly defined as a research involving the remote acquisition of data from or about human participants using the internet and its associated technologies. Now, as with traditional approach, no, IMR projects may adopt a variety of research design. Their focus may be on obtaining quantifiable measurement or garnering rich, elaborate narratives through qualitative approaches. And they may be reactive, where participants interact with either the material and or researcher, like online surveys, online interviews. Alternatively, they may be non-reactive, where data about individuals are collected unobtrusively from secondary sources which were not created as part of the research, like analysis of social media posting, interpersonal social network links, or other types of online activity such as search engine histories or digital traces stored as a byproduct of smart app usage. Sabi nga ni ating presenter earlier. So, the boundaries between IMR and other designs can be blurred where research includes element of both in-person o yung observation and interaction and remote data collection. However, the key points is that the design normally involves acquisition of data collection. Okay? However, the key point is that the design normally involves acquisition of data from or about individuals in the absence of physical co-presence. This time, pandemic, so wala naman tayong choice. This restricts the researcher's capacity in context where a participant is actively aware of and knowingly participating in a study. Yun po yung reactive context. Why? Because we want to monitor, support, or even terminate the study. No, if adverse reaction become apparent, even in context where researchers can monitor the reaction of their participants via video chat. Sabi nga ni presenter kanina, pwedeng video call, pwedeng sa Zoom, pwedeng sa Google Meet, and any other platforms. We may consideration may need to be made about how communication dynamics might be different and in some way impoverished compared to in-person setting. Let's say, some may find it more difficult to build a rapport or read the reactions of others because nonverbal communication cues can be absent or attenuated. No? And these key features of IMR can raise a number of ethics issues which need careful consideration. Take note of it. Actually, our presenter also mentioned earlier about the data privacy. No? So, additionally, very often, research participants will be located in one or more different areas or countries. So, a project may span multiple nations, let's say, for example, or multiple towns, no? Cultures in legal jurisdiction. Care should be taken when designing research to ensure that if online methods are being used, especially if these are attempting to substitute in-person designs, that this format is appropriate. Most research paradigms may require a specific modification to ensure these are appropriate and effective online. Isa pa yan sa ating idini-deliver no, during our defense. No? How effective yung ginamit mong methods para sa interview, questionnaire ba yan, direct observation, and so on. So, different types of IMR design raise different ethics consideration. So, while many of these issues are detailed, no, of course, in some human research ethics, no, and are not unique to IMR, in this context, they may create special considerations regarding the way the general principles should be interpreted and applied. Like say, for example, the extent to which the research can be thought of as occurring within a private or public domain may be difficult to decide, given that those boundaries are often blurred online. As what we discussed earlier, no, level of risk to participants may be difficult to monitor and control in some IMR designs, given researchers' lack of direct oversight over participants' behaviors, mood, or identifiability. Sabi nga ni presenter kanina, di ba? Hindi naman natin kilala, hindi naman natin alam kung ano itsura ng reaction niya habang sinasagot niya. No? This, along with the ubiquity, accessibility of the internet in the data on it, may have implications for procedure for ensuring valid consent, withdrawals, as well as protection of participants. No? Maging maingat po tayo. Additionally, emerging new methods may give rise to novel ethics issues. And this point should be keep in mind when considering the novel methodological opportunities afforded by Internet-Mediated Research. Particularly, this can include the emerging use of artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithmic approaches in social and behavioral research, facilitated by the enhanced prevalence of big data sets now readily available online, so from social media sources. And this can lead to inferences and predictions being made about individuals, even groups naman actually, that go beyond the information readily apparent to a human observer. Although, it is beyond the scope of this statement or document to delve into details of these techniques and issues in any depth. Researchers should be aware of the emerging use of these approaches to understand human behavior. Okay? So, we need to consider some ethics issues to consider when designing, implementing, or assessing an IMR study. Sabi nga ni presenter kanina, and I'm happy with his presentation, no? The public and private distinction, the valid consent, na-explain naman niya yan, no? How to implement robust, traceable, valid consent procedures. So nagbigay siya ng mga example. Confidentiality, no? Levels of risk to the confidentiality of participants' data and how to minimize and inform participants of this risk, particularly where they were potentially lead to harm. No? Anonymity, deception, withdrawal, and the copyright, no? The copyright issues in data ownership and when permission should be sought to use potential data sources. We have also the scientific integrity, the levels of control, on how we will be able to reduce the level to control may impact on the scientific value of a study and how best to maximize level of control where appropriate. The social responsibility, no? Disruption of social structure, no? Maximizing benefits and minimizing harm must consider. Okay? So, again, as I mentioned, you need also to read about the Code of Human Research Ethics. Na? Meron tayo niyan actually available online. We could able to download or to view the specifically when it comes to confidentiality, anonymity, deception, withdrawal, copyright, and others. No? So, choosing a participant is also an important. No? We need to consider it well. So, the following discussions of our presenter, no, the typical principles of ethical research with human participants apply to IMR, and the basic of ethical practice are not changed. No, however, the implication of these principles for practice may differ in IMR context, and aspect of online environments may make particular issues salient in ways they have not been in traditional research. Certain ethics principles may be more or less salient in different types of research design, and the procedures researchers put in place should be proportional to the likely risk to participants and researchers. So when planning internet-mediated research, one should take into account both the existing methodological literature and the fundamental principle of research ethics. So I think that's it for internet-mediated research.